Hello everybody, this is Torian Trades. I want to thank you for joining me once again. This is going to be a bit of a lengthier video going over how the week went, so sit back and enjoy this video. It is going to be educational. I do apologize if the volume is a bit low. I'm back at school, so please bear with me. Thank you. Torian, coming back to you with another video. This is going to be maybe a bit longer and a lot more interesting. We will be going over some trades that took place, along with just the week recap, right? So, this isn't a video I thought I'd be making, this early, right? Like, you do this trading journey, and not only, I've taken tons of losses, but you go through it, and then you start something, and you don't want to, not only do you not want to fail, you don't want to show that you failed, right? But I mean, it's part of it. You have to. And with the way trading is, and with the way I am, I realized, and I'm like, okay, well, sorry, as transparent as a person that I am, this is something I'm going to have to suck up and show everybody who's doing it, right? So I mean, obviously, there are going to be things, setbacks, goals, ambitions, and I have very, very high ambitions, right? Like, I'm starting a small account and trying to make it into something huge. And obviously, there are going to be times that I want to build that. There are going to be times where I want to take a risk. And I mean, that risk can either go well and it can go bad, or I can stick to a simple plan and then ultimately come out on top. But sometimes it doesn't happen. So let's go over yesterday. I took a pretty substantial loss. Obviously, I don't want to, say that all the time, but yeah, I took a substantial loss. But let's first start off with a positive, right? So I had a goal this week, right? I wanted to get to a certain number, and I reached that number on Friday, right? So everything dropped off the open as far as I'm concerned. I believe everything dropped off the open. I was looking at MU, and I was looking at a few things, and I think sometimes when I start to look at multiple stocks and multiple things, it gets me in a place of trying to catch every single thing, right? But on top of that, when you try to catch so many things, you lose sight in the good things when it comes to one thing, right? So for me, especially with Friday and how Friday was going for me and how it started, even building up to Friday, it wasn't the best, right? Mindset wise, I wasn't in the best mindset. I was dealing with a few setbacks prior to the market even opening Friday, right? So that already messed up my morning. But then I'm here and I have to be better. I have to make a plan. I have to get myself in the area where I can just be better, right? And I can push past some of those things that happens. And some days it does well, and then some days it gets the best of you, right? So for me, I started off Friday the way I started off, right? And I ultimately took MU after it pushed up, right? I took it at the open, and I believe I had a pretty good feel on it, right? I mean, obviously everything can always be better. As you can see, you look at the way it moved up. It did bounce off of VWAP, creating a VWAP support, and then it also broke this resistance it had pre-market for about 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. It had this resistance. It bounced off of it 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, right? So it being here around this area, then looking at MU, how it pushed above that, held that, and then pushed higher, shows, and I mean, I probably could have charted MU a little better, which isn't really my main thing here. I took it at the open, so right here I got in as it pushed above the open, which, as you can see, made a $2 move, $3 move actually, I believe. just from the open. I mean, obviously you go down here, but just from the open, we're at 333 all the way to 335. So about a $2 move. I mean, obviously up here is 336, which is $3. I think I sold here. I want to say one of these three candles, but yeah. So well, I could go back and look at the fields, but I don't feel like doing all that. But yeah. So I took MU, made 84, right? That put me above my goal by about 50 bucks. So my thing was like, okay, do I take another trade here, or do I push and try to get an even bigger number today? And in my head, I was like, nah. With how the morning's going, with how everything is set up, maybe you should relax. You don't have to take that trade, but it is there. So let's go over to Google, right? So Google essentially did the same thing off the open, but I thought it was a bit stronger because it didn't have that big red candle drop, right? So after I get out of MU, let's see, hold on. Let me go. We go to MU, and sorry if I'm all over the place, but we go to MU, and obviously there's this candle at 638, right? Google at 938, sorry. At 938, Google was right here. So I think Google had this pullback after MU, right? Google had this pullback, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll catch the push up, right? And I believe I was looking here. So Google pushed above, right? Rejects, pushes above again, above this level, because I was looking at 330. Pushed above 330, and I got, I think, the worst fill ever. The worst fill ever, right? And I bought a pretty heavy amount of contracts when I really should have just bought one. I was buying three because I wanted to get in quick and get out, but I got a bad fill. So in doing so, I put myself pretty much in the red off the rip because it filled me at the peak. So yeah, so obviously I took a pretty big loss. As you can see, it came all the way down. And on Friday, especially, contracts can lose value pretty easy, even if you hold them. So even if I get filled right here, and let's just say a contract is at $2, if it comes all the way down, it reaches a low like $60, $50. Well, 60 cents, $2 to 60 cents. And then comes back up. It's not going to be at the same. Oh, it would have been at like 180, $1.80 here. It'll be at like $1. So the time decay is real. So even with it getting back up here, the contracts still only were at one. They were only at like $1.20, even when they were $2 right here. So yeah, basically I took a pretty big loss on Google. I took a very big loss. I could try and see if it'll show it, but let me see. I can go to, yeah, I took a very big loss on Google, as you can see. And I mean, obviously, trust me, I don't want to show this at all, right? I was doing real good on the year. The most I lost on the stock in a day is probably 50 bucks. My biggest loss was 50 bucks on a day, right? And then I took this massive hit to Google, right? And with that being said, like it shows like my entry here, looking at how I could have played Google better, which would have enabled me to catch the move, even getting out of what's it called? If I get in at the break of this structure, which is a reverse H pattern, as you can see the H right here, or even if we look at the 5-minute here, which we'll look at the 5-minute in a second. If I grab an entry right here at 329.04, I can ride these two candles and I'll be good, and I'll still catch my 330 break. Obviously, I'm looking, if you go in the bigger time frame, I'm looking for the break of all-time highs, but we have this, and let me get rid of this alert. We have this structure here, right? If you look at the base of this candle below the wick, look where we wicked off, right? If you look at these two wicks right here, look where we wicked off, right? So that 330.88 area is a major level, right? So with that being said, and with that being shown, we need to break above that level. We did not. And obviously I was looking at the peak and being like, oh, what if this isn't really a major level? What if we don't really have anything there? And I wasn't thinking when I did that, right? So looking at this major resistance level, I mean, even when we went down here and we haven't had a close above this area, I should have waited for confirmation, and that's purely my fault, right? I should have waited for a confirmation. I mean, looking at the consolidation on this area, I should have took a better trade, even going with MU, right? MU did the same thing, consolidated in the morning, had this consolidation. Could have took that consolidation break and look what it did on the 15-minute, right? So obviously, I'm getting better at using bigger time frames to recognize structure and recognize what levels need to be broken. Like if you look at the 1 hour right here, now we see there's a pure level at 330.32 with a high of 330.83, which obviously I will be looking to play Google for strength. You know, if it shows pre-market strength Sunday, which obviously I will be posting my watch list Sunday. If it shows the pre-market strength that I need, I'll be taking Google, and obviously I'm going to have a big fight with Google going into this week. And it's not going to be revenge trading. It's just going to be me trying to get back, right? Like, I want to get back what I lost. I shouldn't have lost it. I should have had discipline going into that, but obviously I want to get it back. Now, MU is currently the all-time high is 346.60. Now, for me, what I really should have done, knowing the strength off of MU, because it did this last time, right? So, as you can see in the 1, 2, 3, 4 days, MU pushed up, right? MU pushed up very high, broke all-time highs again, pushed up, and we're consolidating here. Consolidated, I played this, and I ended up being red on the day because of MU specifically, right? Just because of this drop here. And I'm expecting an all-time high push. And my entry didn't allow me to stay green, right? And that's another thing we're going to talk about here. But yeah, so we consolidated, fell down, boom, and now we're back here. So if we go and look, and this is what I'll say after looking at this, we're going to 10-day, 30-minute. Did the same thing here, pushed. Then we consolidate, broke above, consolidate, drop down, and then we push back up, break. Next day, we get here, drop, push, break the next day, and then we have this major consolidation. Now look where we are. What I should have done, and if I trusted myself more, and if I was smarter, I would have taken a swing into this next week, going into probably at this day here, a swing position can be taken because look where we are. It's done it multiple times, or even back here if it breaks the high, right? So that's another thing. Like looking at this, it pushes up, pulls back, pushes up, then we get the pullback, and now look where we are again. So there's only, I mean, obviously, who's to say it's actually going to push, right? I'm not saying do it. You know, you never know what's going to happen, but I mean, we've gotten the confirmation weeks and weeks and weeks behind. Like, look how strong MU has been in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, about 2 weeks, MU has been just pushing, right? Paying. I haven't been having the best entries and the best anything with MU, so obviously I'm not catching it the way I'm supposed to. But just looking at it, it's doing good, right? So, yeah. So then let's go over to Tesla because I did end up taking Tesla. If we go over to Tesla 1 minute, I took Tesla. I think I got in, broke here. Yeah, I think pushed all the way up here, so it dropped down to VWAP, and when it broke that, I got in right here. And it got me out right here. Contract said it'll pay me about $80. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to just let this run, right? Because I'm already down on Google. I'm just going to let this run. Ended up stopping me out. And look what it does later. Contracts hit a high of 2 something. So, and then MU, same thing with MU. I was like, okay, I'll take another quick scalp on MU, see if I can get a play here. I waited on this push. Right here, I got in a little late, it pushed up a little bit, and then dropped down, and I got out like right here. I was like, okay, I can't take another heavy loss. bounces off VWAP, another touch off VWAP, and then bam. Like, look, this is technically the channel. Like, if I draw this for you guys right here, let's just say from this point on here, look at that. I literally just kept making higher lows, lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, higher lows, lower. So it's just a trending up channel, and that's something I should have been riding right now. If I see a break up that channel, that's something, and that's something I need to start seeing, because that was a clear, easy hold for the rest of the day, right? And even looking at that, like, the contract ended up, bought the contract at, I think, 60 cents, ended up at $6.36 at the end of the day before market close. That would have put me right at break even on the day, plus the Tesla trade, right? So even just looking at something like that, like, I realized, and for me, this has happened before, right? I've had a pretty big setback like this before, and I worked back to it in 3 days. I made all that back in 3 days, right? And even knowing that that's possible, it's still the thing of me going, oh, okay, well, is that something I need to look at doing? Or is this something we're going to have to take easy, right? So, another stock that I actually do play pretty well is Meta. So, not saying that this is my watch list video, it isn't, but this is something I will be looking at. Meta will be a stock I can play for a play, get a nice play, and then hold and see if I can get more. Not only that, you may be a stock like that too if it shows tremendous strength tomorrow. Now, will we get the break of the high and then pull back, as you can see? Yes. But if that's something I can manage, and we get something like this, a huge push and then maybe a baby pullback compared to the push we got here, then that'll be something I look to hold and possibly be able to, you know, work back, because now I'm playing catch up rather than being ahead of the 8 ball, right? And that's something you're going to have to think about. Like, if you take on this journey and if you take on being a trader, it's something you're going to have to think about. You may have a setback that puts you behind. You know, some traders go through weeks and weeks of loss, or days in a row of loss, or they take one big hit and then have to work back, right? I was doing good with keeping myself at a pretty small red day until this one, right? But I was also ahead, and I was also green on the day, and I was green on reaching my goal, and look what happened. So for me, obviously it hurts, right? It's a big loss. Nobody wants to take those, right? Like, I'll never want to take one. Like, it's a very big loss, and obviously it's something I'm looking into and something I'm going to be a little better at, right? Like, I can even say, okay, am I going to have to take 2 trades in a day and manage both of them? I'm looking at whatever I can do to get back. Yes, it's a risk. I took a risk Friday and it ended up biting me in the butt. But this is also something I can manage because I've done it before, right? So another thing we're going to talk about is entries, right? So let's talk about Apple. What day was it? So I played Apple, I think, Wednesday. Yeah, I played Apple Wednesday. And I had a great trade plan. So let me just go. I think I can do it this way, right? So I was looking for the break of 260, 261.20 something. It consolidated. So it was whatever the pre-market low was and a little before that. So about 260.30, I believe. Let me go in the big time frame. Actually, if I go to my notes. Sorry, let me grab my book for a second. Yeah, so it was 260.41 or 261. Yeah, 261.40, around that area. That's around here, right? So if we go on the, actually, let me customize this and do this. I'm going to add a time frame. Time interval will be intraday. We'll go 5-day, 1 minute add. Okay. So I'm going to go on this 1 day, 5 minute. Obviously, I'll get rid of it after. But that's 1, 2. It was this day, right? So I'm looking at the break of 261.40, which it broke barely, right? and I did get a pretty late fill. So me looking at that, this is what I want you guys to see, right? So I ended up going to 261.20, and it created this low, right? And we got the push. I got the push lower, but I ended up stopping out, right? I stopped out. It was a good play, good trade. Obviously, it broke at the open, which would have been something else to look at. Like we got what's it called off the open? Got a huge red candle off the open after this major pre-market push, and we got a big green candle, and then 3 big red candles with the wick. But then we also got another big bearish red candle to follow that, which broke the open, and then continued down with a big red candle. So obviously, for me, if we go back here, pre-market low is right here, right? This little dot, 261.41 or 40. So 261.40, it broke that by the littlest bit, right? 261.40. It broke it by about 15 cents. So Apple contracts, did they move a little bit? Yes, I think I was $20 green. Obviously, I'm looking for a bit more, right? I'm looking for a bit more. What I could have done, bought a contract at the open, right? We get the push because we broke the open. We get the push down, and then we get a whole nother leg down, right? And that moved a whole 40 cents almost. Well, more than that actually. Moved almost 65 cents. So we got a pretty big push on Apple contracts. They do move. So I can get the break, buy another contract here, ride this push and sell both at the break or scale out, however you want to do it. I ended up, buying. I bought right here, like right about here on the break. Got in and it ended up pushing right. I took my stop loss. I was like, okay, I'll just play it the next time it comes down. You see this here? I'm like, okay, bam, wicks again, comes down. I stop out again, comes back, and then boom. I don't think I kept playing it after that. I think I tried it those 2 times and I was like, all right, it may or may not happen, right? And I ended up being down like 100 on Apple that day. And then obviously, what does it do a little later? Boom. And then what does it do even a little later? Boom, flush right through, right? So my trade idea wasn't bad. Apple was weak. My trade idea wasn't bad. But look at the execution. Look at the way I could have executed that better. Not only that, maybe confirmation, right? If I look for confirmation there, I can get a better read on that, right? Like this isn't necessarily confirmation. It is and isn't. This is more so like we got this major consolidation all day, right? And now once we create that low, we need confirmation of the low. So this is what we got here. Now it just consolidated, broke lower, and then bounced, retraced higher, right? So it wasn't ready. There was no clear push through that level, bounce, and then breakdown, right? Now what we got here is confirmation. This is confirmation, right? So if we look here, and here, let me draw this for you. This is confirmation. This is confirmation, right? That's confirmation. We got the push, right? This is the low of the day. Big push above. We get a few bounces here, not as close, but we get a few bounces off 261 itself. Then it clear break lower, push higher, reject, break of this structure here, and look what happens. That's the type of patience I should have had on a play like that. That is the patience I should have had. And was my trade idea bad? No. But with the way it was moving, that's what I should have waited on if I was going to try the second time. Now, Meta ended up paying me that day. I think that's what, ended up helping me get, excuse me, that initially paid me Yeah, I think it was. Is this Wednesday? It's just Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Yeah, it paid me Wednesday. So I ended up taking this big drop here, made 115 when I could have made it extra like 160, right? Just off of this big leg down. It didn't show me any reason that it was going to what's called this little baby wick here doesn't show you anything. It didn't give me anything like this, right? It gave me all move down. I should have held that whole move, and that's what I'm going to have to take advantage of. If it doesn't show me any signs of it coming back up, I mean, shoot, if it comes back up a little quick and you go, oh, okay, and it shakes you out, but after a big move like that, it gives you that pullback, and you go, okay, maybe it's done, right? Like almost here, this big push, it doesn't really give you too many indications that it's done. You get, it's just forming bull flags, bull flag, bull flag. Now we're starting to see, oh, okay, maybe the move's done, right? But especially with a drop like that, it didn't show me anything. I should have stayed in that. So that's another trade that I took that I felt I could have capitalized on. Even though I did walk away green, but MU, like I talked about that day, rejected the high here, 346. As you can see, I have a couple of alerts. They rejected off the high, came back. I thought I should have got in here when I got in on the push up, right? Like right here. I got a pretty decent fill. I got in on the push up, came down. I said, oh, I might have to stop out. Came back up, and then we had this big leg down. I ended up stopping out down here. It was a pretty quick candle. So, that's that. But yeah, I mean, my pride almost, stopped me from coming to you guys with this, right? Like, I obviously don't want to have red days. Like I was telling myself that I want 2 to 3 red days this month. Do I want them to be as big as they were? No, but I want 2 to 3 red days, right? And now I've already reached the max of what my goal was for this month, right? I only wanted 2 to 3 red days, and look what happened. Now I'm right at 2 because of poor decision making, poor risk management, and then um, very inconsistent and unreasonable entries, right? And I'm being pretty hard on myself because I'm a little upset at myself for what I did, right? Um, Stop loss, talked about that, kind of touched on it, but my stop loss, my risk has to be max loss for the day 70, 80, $100, 150. I didn't set that before going into that trade, right? Especially with already being up $90 in a day. So, yeah, working on that, I think it's a thing where not necessarily having a clear stop as far as take profit, but when it comes to the technical reasoning behind things, like I wasn't 100% going into the day, and then I wasn't 100% going into that second trade. I was 100% in the first one, and I trusted it. But going into the day, I wasn't already 100%, and then going into that trade, I wasn't 100%, which automatically meant I shouldn't have taken the trade, right? I shouldn't have. That trade shouldn't have even been taken, and I would have been coming to you guys with, hey, first full week of January successful, right? Rather than, hey guys, I'm now going to be having to play catch up because of a mistake I made. So, I mean, but it's my trading journey, right? I have to show you guys the ups and downs. I have to show myself the ups and downs, right? Sometimes I want to ignore it and be like, no, that didn't happen. It happened. It happened. So yeah, take a pretty substantial loss. You guys saw it. I didn't want to show you, but you saw it. And yeah, I mean, I'll be journaling. I'll be doing everything that I can to get back at it, and even if it means taking a risk again this coming week, obviously stricter stop, but I will be trying to work back for a minute, and it's going to be a thing where I'll this week I'll specifically upload a video every day, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long I need to explain each trade that happened today, right? I have to, well, that happened that day. I have to show you guys. And I think for me, it's just going to be taking one trade, even if it's small win. Okay, I made $50, so what? I have to cut it there. I'm not at a spot where I can take many, many trades, right? Especially with a cash account. So for me, I think I'm just going to stick to one trade. If I stuck to one trade that day, I would have been green on the day, and this would have been a completely different video, right? So, yeah, um, new plan for me is one trade. If it shows that it's wanting me to ride it and get more out of it, I'm going to stay in. If not, I'm going to stick to my convictions, stick to my stop loss, stick to my take profit, and get out of there. No more giving back money to the market, and then take what I can get, right? I was doing really good, and now I've started off January in a bit of a bad spot, right? But I can still reach my goal at the end of January, right? And if I get to my goal, I can be a little bit more open with you guys and I can feel better about myself, right? And obviously, it's not about feeling better about yourself. For me, I have a lot riding on this. I put a lot into trading, a lot of staying up, a lot of education, a lot of just trying to fuel myself so that I can be the best trader I can be. So I have a lot riding on this, but I have to break some bad habits that I have just from not being a trader, right? Like I haven't been a trader in so long. I've developed these habits rather than getting in that trading mindset and going, hey, stop out. Hey, get out now. Hey, you got to do this. You got to do that. So, um, pretty lengthy video, huh? So that'll be it for this video. Um, Tomorrow, look forward to the stock watch list. We will be having a stock watch list come out. I'm going to try to keep it to the best A plus setups that I can so that obviously I can work back to where I want to be and we don't have to play catch up for so long, right? Like went off on a week of doing great. Now that week was ruined and now I have to come back and play catch up to get to where I want to be. So yeah, just come along with me on the journey. I'll show you everything that I can. I'll be as open as I can and keep working with me. So thank you for joining me here. I'll catch you tomorrow.